Attack on Titan Chapter 127. Isayama definitely watched my last video and was like, hold up Jerry, I got you. So what's up guys, Foxen here. But seriously, Isayama delivered with Attack on Titan 127. Going from the previous really rushed chapter to a very slow burn today. So go ahead and give a colossal thumbs up, ring the bell, and let's dive into this. Kicking this off is a dream. Oh, but none other than Jean dreaming? This was really setting the stage overall for the chapter. Really just astounding, getting a huge focus. I don't know if it was just me, but I was really getting this Kenny vibe from him. Oh, and who's this random woman here? Could that be Mikasa? Kinda looks like it, although I'm not sure. So let me ask you, what do you think? Mikasa or some random extra? Cause, you know, with Eren out of the picture, the stallion's about to make a move. Ooh. Taking a step back, of course this whole thing was his ideal future / dream. Let me ask the question, could this potentially be setting up some death flags? That would be the usual cliche if it were. Either way, wake up. Oh yes, it's flashback time. After that rushed Attack on Titan 126, leave it to Isayama to fill in some of the gaps now. Too bad for you, no time to sleep, knock knock. It's Hange, time to save the world. And it really was hard to see this. John was really depressed as hell just giving into this dire situation. I mean, who wouldn't? Giving into the reality of Eren's Titan Requiem. It even seems like the mention of that district position could have been something that Vlog dangled in front of his face. If anything, this adds even more to Jean, him just somehow finding the motivation deep inside to get the hell out of that building. Am I the only one surprised that you're getting so much out of him? Come on Isayama, how about Mikasa next? You don't have to leave her to the very end of the story. Anyway, a little bit of Levi info dropped here. So you got Hange clarifying a little bit more on Levi's current status. Levi is awake and about, but not exactly fine enough to fight yet. Apparently, Levi is not going to be able to go God mode anytime soon. If anything, this does allow Levi to still be in the fight somehow, but also at the same time not to take the spotlight away from Mikasa. Which does very much feel like that's the way the story is going, Mikasa having a huge moment at the very end. Anyway, for Hange here, the main objective. If it wasn't already crystal clear, gotta go stop Dino Titan Eren. Her message, mass slaughtering, is wrong. I definitely hope that line comes off better in the Attack on Titan Season 4 anime. By the way, from this Hange panel, oh, I'm assembling a group of superpowered individuals. Really Hange playing up that Nick Fury role. And don't lie, you can't unsee it with her eye patch too. That's right, screw Game of Thrones, Isayama's like, we're Avengers now. Then for Mikasa here, finally some scraps from her. You got Mikasa being quick on the uptake to Hange's request. No hesitation at this point not only to try to stop Eren, but fight his founding titan ass. More like this, please. Then for the stallion. So you had the guy being logical in some ways, but not in some others. I mean, someone did have to bring it up. The topic about what happens to Paradis Island in both scenarios. Either Eren wiping out the world, or Eren happily backing off from a friendship speech. At least right now, if you're on the island, and especially if you're an Eldian, then the Titan world destruction plan from Eren does benefit you clearly a lot more. I did like Hange's response to this. You have Hange being in this complete disagreement with this worldwide destruction plan, and then you could tell she's really hurt about it. Which is why you and I are waiting for some type of Eren update. Cause really, his Code Geass plan has not only put the Attack on Titan world, but the story overall in this clear position of Eren in this completely evil position. Everyone has to stop him. I'm hoping that Isayama's gonna bring back the gray areas to this Titan issue, most likely via Eren's thoughts. Either way, I was really proud of Hange's motivation here, to continue fighting for freedom, this time outside of the walls. In one aspect, you have her blaming herself for the current Eren issue, which, to be fair, that whole situation between both of them could have been handled a lot better. At the same time, it is easy to point that out in hindsight, not to mention the fact that Hange is not 100% to blame either. As for the Hange scene with the fallen scouts in the back, seeing Erwin here gave me freaking chills. I almost started tearing up. And hey, didn't this remind anyone of Erwin's final moment in Attack on Titan Season 3 just before the charge? Trust me, this is going to be a more impactful scene in the Season 4 anime. I'm just praying right now that this is not a parallel to Erwin's situation, you know, before his fall to the Beast Titan. Looking at this from a slightly different angle, it does feel like Hange here is speaking truth to the Attack on Titan audience. Freedom does not stop at Paradis Island. Freedom should continue way past the ocean. Likewise, Erwin most certainly would have had that mindset. If Levi had made him the Colossal Titan instead, Erwin would have kept advancing forward, past the whole Titan basement reveal. For Jean here, notice, the guy still had Marco close at mind years later. Come on, Commander Stallion, here we come. Really just setting the foundation for some of the stuff later in this chapter. Next up, Avengers Assembled, the bootleg edition. So a couple things from this bonding shot. First off, Hange, when did she get promoted to Chef Mama position? Mummy Levi, the guy appears to be knocked out. Oh, don't mind him, Uncle Levi is just getting up in age. Annie, over to the side, drinking. That's right, bitches, I'm legal. Magath, agreeing with that booze idea. Reiner, same as usual, probably just thinking about the quickest way to die. Peak, in Titan form. I mean, the car Titan just cannot stop looking creepy. As for the trouble in Paradise, time for the fricking blame game to begin. The reason for this, it was all you devils and your thirst for blood that caused all of this. Oh hell no, it was you and the warriors who pancaked Eren's freaking mom that are to blame. One thing to notice here is that line about playing the victim card for something that happened thousands of years ago. It really feels like this is some real life commentary from Isayama, something that is very much applicable to our human history in so many different forms. Although I should also be fair and point out that they do mention going back thousands of years. Some similar-ish issues in our world are more recent, going back hundreds of years for example. Either way, I was really just waiting for it, wondering how long it would be until some obvious common ground got reached. Thankfully, Hange became the voice of that reason. All of you gotta stop being ignorant devils. Then, for blonde girl Annie here, really asking when you all wanted to hear the Eren topic. I do have to hand it to Annie really knowing how to press someone's buttons. Holy crap, did Annie easily trigger fricking Mikasa. Mikasa was like 1 second away from going full on Akron mode on Annie. And even Annie, 4 years later, she's not one to back down. Bitch, I got my ring ready, come at me. So Annie versus Mikasa round 2? Nope, just another time of Isayama teasing your fun bits. I do gotta say, this little Mikasa demonstration was surprising, so easily provoked. Clearly, she still has some deep feelings regarding Annie. Hopefully we see more of that on screen. Anyway, dinner time. So finally Kiyomi is making her way back into the Attack on Titan story. A few videos back, I did mention Kiyomi's Ice Burst Power Stone playing a major role for the finale. And now we're here. Supposedly they got access to a single plane nearby. That definitely solves one issue, how to get close to Dino Titan Eren. Easy, fly over to him. Perhaps this does help to explain Mikasa in the air of the latest Attack on Titan volume cover. Getting into the Yelena stuff, you mean to tell me this shady backstabbing person lied about her background? You don't say. Yelena actually a Marleyan. For the actual Yelena juicy bit, it feels like she was given this flock moment from season 3, just speaking the truth about this assembled group. Wanting to save the world? Ha! All of you guys are just hiding behind the truth, all of you guys are killers. Not to mention a split second away from chomping at each other's necks. I do wonder how many new fans Yelena will pick up after this chapter. Even I have to applaud her, Yelena hitting more weak spots. Bingo, bringing Marco up. When she dropped that name, I could fricking feel the tension. Hello my old friends, Reiner and Annie. I mean really, goddamn. I got chills as Reiner was going over the details about what happened to Margot. And I do feel bad about the whole situation. At least credit to Reiner, the big fella spoke up soon right away about him being the one who ordered Annie to do it. If there was an overall message from this chapter, it was this one, and I felt it was getting hammered a little bit too much, talking about the issue of killing. Before killing, before fighting, it's always better to try to talk it out. Which is a message that should be pretty obvious and feels far too logical at this point. Although perhaps Armin would disagree. Anyway, I saw it coming a mile away. Reiner just couldn't let it go. He had to keep slapping the horse's ass. Eventually, Reiner, you're gonna get kicked. But come on, you know it. Reiner secretly wanted to get a beating. He's really become the darkness of Attack on Titan. I would feel bad for Reiner, but the guy is a Titan. Even after that trashing, the guy would just sleep it off. Gabby on the other hand, I'm sure that Gabby Hate Club was in full bliss seeing this girl getting stomped on. Don't hurt my cousin, please. But honestly, who needs Titan powers when you're Gabby? And then, what's this? Some character development from Gabby. So I'm curious how you guys feel about this. Despite almost everyone hating this little devil, Isayama has actually given Gabby more development than some other fan favorites post timeskip. She's gone from wanting the Paradise Island devils to be wiped out, now all of a sudden begging on the ground for them to help. I do have to hand it to Isayama finding ways to break the tension, Hange with her meal question, and then Levi being like, damn it, I'm trying to recover, shut the hell up. As for Magath in this, even this guy that has risen to take a top spot in Marley has had quite the progression. At first, it seemed like he was mimicking Willie's steering the wheel gesture, but no. Clearly the guy wanted to comfort Gabby, one of those little devils he's gotten attached to, just leaving it to Falco. Good luck, kid. Which, by the way, do I smell a slight death flag being raised? I'm not gonna be surprised at all if Margaret dies or gets hurt for one of these little devils. Then for Jean, I am freaking enjoying his progression so much. The guy actually ended up putting his issue aside for the moment. There was even some brief comedy via Reiner. Wake up, a-hole, aren't you healed yet? I got a feeling that Reiner's gonna start acting like this abused wife real soon. Naturally, like I explained in my last video, these guys are working together, but that doesn't mean they've forgiven one another. And what about me from Annie? Too bad they cut away from this part. Damn it, Isayama, give me more Annie dialogue. Next up, cliffhanger time. The Yeager STD group has occupied the port. So, Kiyomi, you're still on the freaking island? Unfortunately, these guys once again are gonna have to kill other humans. I'm getting this vibe of them fighting the military police in the Uprising arc, the manga version. You even have Flock being set up as this mini boss figure before the main Eren fight. Is he gonna do it? Kiyomi, dead or alive? So overall, this chapter, definitely a huge step up from the previous rushed one. Taking a step back, it does feel like clearly there's still much more to the Attack on Titan story left, especially if we get more chapters paced like this one. The popular old estimation was Attack on Titan ending in around chapter 130, but that's definitely not happening. Even chapter 135 seems too soon. Last video, I predicted Attack on Titan crossing over to 2021, but for a concrete chapter estimate, 135 to 140 seems about right now. As for Dino Titan Eren, nothing new from him this chapter. No new Titan body or nothing from Eren's point of view. Let me mention, I don't mind, especially with what we got, although I wouldn't mind getting this quick glimpse of his new form. Eren has truly become part of the huge Attack on Titan mystery post-timeskip. You finally got some insight into what was really pushing Eren to advance forward, being fleshed out via the Titan Realm stuff. But then after that, months of nothing more. In my last Attack on Titan video, I did go over the various issues for the previous chapter. Thankfully, I could say Attack on Titan 127 fixed some of those problems. I was expecting flashbacks to be heavily used more, but Isayama chose a different route. Instead, some of the discussions were hinted at happening off-screen, which meant you were given a follow-up on the whole Paradise teaming up with Marley awkwardness. The only one thing I did want more of that I didn't get, surprise, Annie. Annie did get combined with the whole Marco topic, but nothing yet regarding Mikasa and Annie from the Season 1 events. To be fair, you could argue shades of that was hinted at from Mikasa, her really just wanting to turn Annie into barbecue Titan meat. Still, I want more of that. Unfortunately, nothing from Armin and Annie yet. I'm still waiting to hear that heart-to-heart conversation. At least mention something about the weird crystal love chatter. Some deeper discussion with Annie may have started on that horse wagon. Hopefully that gets flashed back to later. Then for the whole Levi squad and Annie, I'm gonna be fair for now and give this a pass. You know, Levi being knocked out. If anything, Zeke is still a top priority in his mind. By the way, from the beginning of the chapter, side random theory. You have Jean either having a dream or imagining this future. Quick theory time. Could that have been Jean looking into a possible future? In other words, this vision of a future made possible via Eren Yeager. Or depending on how cynical Eren wants to be, a fake memory. Just some quick theory to consider. Probably not the case. By the way, in case you missed it or were confused about the previous chapter's problems, definitely watch my full in-depth video on that chapter. Go and see if this new chapter fixed some of the rushing stuff. Plus, a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters. All of you hardcore fans are freaking awesome. If you want to go ahead and join up, definitely check my Patreon link down below. Whether you want to become a deeper fan of this community, find out some of the behind the scenes shenanigans, or catch my monthly live streams. And yes, we're definitely talking about this chapter next live stream. So check my Patreon and consider supporting. But anyway, more important are your thoughts. Was this chapter better paced? Did you prefer the previous quicker paced chapter? And yes, keep in mind, I do read the comments. Definitely check out that previous juicy Attack on Titan video, and I'll see you guys later.